What's up everybody, Ross here for the Brotographer, and this is gear you actually need. Most of the new video and photo gear that we aspire to procure is both large, massive, and probably costs a lot. But in this episode of Gear You Actually Need, it's going to cost you under 150 bucks and is going to come in a tiny little baby bag like this. That piece of gear is the Aputure MX. So what the MX is an aircraft grade aluminum credit card sized LED light with a lithium ion battery that you can take anywhere. It is built like a tank, it's super bright, and it's also bicolor and comes with diffusion. So before we check out the Amaran MX, let me show you what comes in this little awesome faux leather and mesh pouch. So first of all is a little baby tripod that Aputure typically includes with most of their products. Next is going to be a USB-C charging cable. Next is going to be a couple different diffusion panels. First is a small diffusion panel that you can put on front of the light. And next is a larger diffusion panel that they provided. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be in the production model, but it is larger and does soften up the light just a little bit more. Finally, we get to the actual light itself. As you guys can see, this thing is about the width and height of a credit card. However, it is a little bit thicker. Now, if we take a look at the back of the light here, we'll see that this is actually a built-in heatsink, and Aputure is claiming that this is aircraft grade aluminum, so it's going to disperse that heat from the lithium ion battery very nicely. As we all know, LEDs don't put out much heat anyways, but the battery can get warm, and it's nice to know that this is going to disperse the heat. One thing I didn't mention to you guys before, but this is a pre-production model, so this diffusion material on front that I have kind of snaps in, but I have been told by Aputure that you are actually going to get a magnetic snap-on for the diffusion panel. If we take a look at these LEDs, there are 128 of them, and they are bicolor, so they are going to change from 2800 Kelvin all the way to 6500 Kelvin. I cannot stress how good the build quality is in this metal housing. It's absolutely fantastic. On the bottom of the MX here is a 1/4-20 thread that you can mount to anything, including the little baby tripod that they included with the package. So the Amaran MX charges with a USB-C to USB cable. You can plug it into a little adapter into a socket or put it into your computer, and it's pretty much charged in no time with the built-in lithium ion battery. So in full brightness, the MX is going to get you about 40 minutes of usage. All the way down at the very bottom level of brightness, you're going to get about 5 hours of usage. So I would imagine you'd be using it somewhere in between there, so probably anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of usage. I don't really see, this thing's really bright, so I don't really see a need to use the booster too much, and you can only use it for 60 seconds at a time. So use it at your discretion, but the lithium ion battery actually lasts for a decent amount of time for how much power this little light outputs. Alright, so the controls on the Amaran MX are super easy to use. We've got your on and off switch on the top right here, booster mode, which allows for 30% brighter output for up to a minute. We've got a couple battery status LEDs on the top as well. There's a switch that you can toggle back and forth that allows you to control with the left and right buttons all the way on the left top here. It allows you to control the either color temperature or the brightness and the output of that brightness. So if we turn on the Amaran MX with this switch right here, flip it over to the left, we are controlling the output right now. So all the way brightest. You can turn it down with a couple clicks. We can also turn on the booster mode, off the booster mode, and if we flip the switch to the CCT, cold or warm, we are all the way cold and all the way warm, as you can see on my face right here. We'll move it back, all the way cold, so you'll see that it's super easy to use. I have found that in real world use on top of a gimbal, we get about a stop difference in a small room, or if my gimbal is using about a 35mm lens and it's on the subject, I will get about a stop difference in the light, and that means it's pretty fantastic, even with the diffusion material on. Alright, so it's a cool, relatively inexpensive, built well light, but what are you actually going to use something like this in photos or videos? Well, one of my favorite things to do, as you can see here on the right side of my face, it's in relative shadow, is to fill in those shadows with a light like this. It's all the way dim right now, and as you can see, it's just at a frame. I'm going to turn it up a hair, and as you can see, it easily fills in those shadows. Something that's super easy to work with. I'm going to flip it over here, and I'm going to warm up that side of my face. One thing that you are going to want to have is a gel if you're going to want to make this, you know, purple or really blue, because this is going to go from 2800 all the way to 65. If you do want to get that blue, magenta, purple look, you are going to need to gel it. With so many of us doing YouTube these days for whatever it is that we love, having a little light like this that you can travel with is just going to provide you more options. If, say, you're in a hotel room, you're out shooting at night, anything like that, it's a great little light for that. Speaking of shooting at night, the Amaran MX is perfect for those run and gun shooters who like to do night photography or video. It's going to give you a little bit of extra pop or color depending on what you want to do with it, and at such a inexpensive price, it is absolutely worth it, and it's tiny, so you can just chuck it in your bag. With that build quality, once again, you're not going to worry about breaking it. My other favorite thing to do when shooting video is to actually mount it on a gimbal. This gets you a little bit of height, so you're able to get somewhat of a 45-degree angle of light on your subject when you're shooting them. Now, I do a ton of like promotional little videos, doing announcements for my gym, like, hey, we're gonna have this event this Saturday, we're gonna be doing this, we're announcing a new class, and I like to shoot those videos on a gimbal, kind of doing a walk and talk situation because it seems more personal. Having a light like the Amaran MX allows me to give a little bit more pop and punch on the talent, usually my wife, her face in those videos, shoot a little bit more clean, kind of darkens out the background, just a hint because of that inverse square law of light, and overall I just think it looks better. Now at the end of the day, it's about creativity. Whether you're a gym owner, fitness junkie, and blogger like I am, or you're a documentary filmmaker, a nighttime photographer, having a little LED like the Amaran MX is really going to help you out. Whether you need a hair light, fill in the shadows, lighting something in the background, whatever it is, little pieces of gear like this make a big difference. Now, your audience isn't always going to be able to point out and say, oh hey, I really noticed that little light in the background, I think that really added to your shot. But subliminally, I think they do notice little pieces of production value when they're stepped up. I'm a firm believer in production value, and anything you can do to kind of jerry-rig your scene with a light like the Amaran MX is going to step up that production value, and in turn, I think, make a better product. So if you have any questions at all about the Aputure Amaran MX, leave them down in the comments below, and I promise I will answer each and every one of them. This is an awesome light. I take it everywhere I go. I just chuck it in my bag, and I honestly think that you should too. If you like this video and you think you're gonna like this series of videos on gear you actually need, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I wanna bring you gear that maybe isn't camera or lens related, but it's gonna play a really big key in your photos and videos. Because honestly, from personal experience, it plays a huge key in mine. So, once again, subscribe, hit that little bell if you like the Brotographer and you want to be notified of any videos that I release, such as videos like this on the Amaran MX. I'm Ross Thomas for the Brotographer.com, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.